now I want to call up a representative from the incredible, the game-changing youth movement, Sunrise.
Nice to see you all here and have a packed house. My name is Marco.
Yeah, Marco!
I've been organizing with Sunrise for the last 6 months or so. My first time stepping into such a role. And I'm a training team lead for Sunrise Providence. So, decades from now, historians will say that 2020 was a dark moment in the history of the human race. They'll tell of how in 2020, Australia had fires that swept through the entire continent. They're going to talk about how in 2020, sea levels continue to rise and devastating storms continue to rage throughout the world, escalating more and more, devastating people all across the world, leading to countless climate refugees. They'll tell how in 2020, corrupt politicians continued to refuse to break their ties to the fossil fuel industry. How in 2020, the Earth stood on the brink of climate catastrophe, dominated by a corrupt political establishment that refused to take the crisis seriously. But decades from now, historians will also say that 2020 was the year in which ordinary people throughout this country stood up and built a massive, unstoppable movement to elect Bernie Sanders as president. And to launch the decade of the Green New Deal. A few reasons why Sunrise Movement decided to endorse Bernie for president. First, his consistency. Bernie's been calling the climate crisis the most important issue facing civilization since the 80s and has stood alongside movements that have been fighting it since back then. His political courage. More than any other major political figure in our lifetimes, Bernie has led in taking positions not because they poll well, but because he believes in them. Even when it was hard. And lastly, his commitment to building a cross-class, multiracial movement. Bernie understands that to win a better world and a livable future, we need more than a single politician. We need a mass movement and a political revolution to transform our society. That's why the slogan of the Bernie campaign is not me, us. Exactly. So these are just a few reasons why Sunrise voted resoundingly to back Bernie as President of the United States. We recognize that out of all the political campaigns out there right now, Bernie's is the most committed to achieving racial, economic, social, and environmental justice. So, let's move onwards towards that political revolution. Onwards towards a new day in the United States of America, and onward towards a Green New Deal.